Hello everyone. Happy Monday. How's it going? Alfarius, get him. Get him now. Well, the good news is the Batman. I bought it last night. Don't worry, I checked it. I was checking, and there it was. And I just went, quick, add to cart, done. The Batman will be happy, I hope. Alfarius has been purchased. Good afternoon, tattooed zoologist, Dutch Army painter, Mark Watson, Edward 705, Batman, Stoogie, Keith Story, Aiden Hughes, Maureen. You've done good. Batman is pleased. Yeah, you can turn around now. I remember you were swimming the Atlantic. Don't worry, you can head back. Alfarius has been bought. Good evening from North Yorkshire. Good evening to you, Chris. How you doing? Welcome back to Me Time Monday. Astra Militarum. We are taking a pause on them for now. We've got a lot of other stuff to get on with. Yeah. I'm going to be finishing off a video because I didn't quite finish it off before we went live. I've got one more colour to do. And I'll tell you exactly which miniature that is in a moment. So we'll be doing that live. I powered up over the weekend and finished off 2 other models that you've all been asking me to do. Hence why today's stream is about Middle-earth, because it's a bit of a Middle-earth theme. So we have, in the last couple of days, finished off some of the new Forge World stuff that came with War of the Rohirrim. So here we have Lord Thorn and Helm Hammerhand. So these 2 are done. I know you guys have been asking. So there we go. Personally, I feel like I've done an incredible job on Helm Hammerhand. I'm really pleased with how that's come out. So, you know. I think it looks great. And the model we will be finishing off today is Frecker, Lord of the Wold. Lord of the Westmarch, I think. There's 1 colour left to do on him. Can you tell what it is? That's what we're going to be doing. So we're going to do that, and then we're going to build Glorfindel. That's the plan for this afternoon. And then, who knows, maybe we'll have some time afterwards. I also built Hera, Bride of Death. I went for the big shield in the end. We'll try and get a video done on her as well at some point, but who knows when that will be. So yeah, pretty busy weekend. We've also got this guy to do. This is today's. Have you done the tattoos on Frecker's face, Josh? Aiden, were you not looking? Look. Yes, I have. There you go. I'm new to your channel. Your Emperor's Children Colour Theory stream was awesome. Eagerly waiting the full EC how-to vid. I'm also eagerly awaiting that. On my phone screen. I see. That's alright, Aiden. You're forgiven. I'm going to be editing that video hopefully this week, maybe next week, that stream, to make it a little bit more concise. I might add some more information to it. What I need to do is sit and edit what I've done and then just figure out if it's a good enough video to add more. We might do some more theory this Wednesday. I don't know what it would be about, though. I'm happy for you guys to throw out some suggestions on something that we could possibly do. Yeah, we shall see. Are you going to get the Heroes of Hell's Last? I shall do my darndest to be awake at 10 AM on Saturday to order them, because I suspect they will sell out. So be careful with that. I will do my utmost to get them, because I really want them. For my own selfish ends. So we shall see. Good evening, Flying Muttley. How you doing? Tattoo Zoologist, thank you very much for 1 gifted War Hipster membership. You are our first gifter of the day. That's very kind of you. That's awesome. Thank you very much. Stu, congratulations. £42.50 though. Well, it won't be £42.50, will it? Because you won't buy it from Games Workshop directly. And I don't even know if that is accurate. I've heard people complaining about prices. I haven't seen anything about it. As you know, I don't take much stock in any leaks until they're real, made manifest. The other thing I would say about the Hell's Last miniatures is if you view it slightly differently in that the box contains a Castellan, a Ministorum Priest and a Commissar, it's actually a bargain, even if it is at £42.50. Because they don't have rules, but each of the individuals, you can use them as a thing to make just individual models. Is one thing I would say. If we're going to do a bit of glass half full, glass half emptying thing. So yeah. Otherwise, how are you all? Are you all good? Did you see the new Kado model for Soulblight? I did. Again, Games Workshop, if you're watching, one of those, please. Please send it to me. I asked on the stream when they were first announced, the Hell's Last miniatures. Silence. They have not sent them to me. So I shall have to purchase them. But there you go. I should finish up Archaon today at long last. Well done, Philip. It is a chonk of a model, that one. Right. Forgive me, but we do have to do a little bit of filming. Just a little bit of filming to finish off Frecker. So that's what we're going to do now. So we're going to be doing that live. So there we go. So with that all done, what we're now going to do is finish off Frecker by taking some thinned down Liberator Gold. I'm going to use this to highlight all of his gold. Done. Use it back on. Edge highlighting. I do prefer the name Me Time Mondays. That's fair. I almost changed it again to Miniature Building Mondays, but then I realised that's not all we do on Me Time Mondays. Gotta get home and work on your Tails piece. You still got plenty of time. This might be my Tails piece because there's a little bit of blue on it. Fiddly gold. The mirror is technically blue. Well, if it's technically blue, then blue it is. The choice is yours of what you submit, of course. I will say, though, for anybody who doesn't want to paint anything blue, you could always say, I painted this because it made me feel blue. You know? Remember, there's always ways around it. The big question is going to be what we do for March. March Madness? That's a thing, isn't it, my American friends? Top banter. Hello, Vicious Goose. Hope everyone is doing well. Thank you very much for being a member for 20 months. I hope you're doing well with that kind of membership. Legend of the chat, Vicious Goose. It was blue, then I painted over it because I didn't like the blue. Very good. Here is video evidence. Here is evidence of me painting it blue, deciding that I didn't like the blue, and then painting it a completely different colour. Enjoying the Monday off. Ah, lovely Monday off. I remember it well. Don't get days off as a YouTuber. Well, no, you do. You just choose when they are. And if, like me, you're a workaholic, you don't have them. But it is a sacrifice I am willing to make. Do you know how many painted miniatures I have? Many. 7. 2000. Maureen's closer, Rez. You're off by several digits there. Next week will be expensive. Mechanicum Heavy Support Group and loads of books, but now they'll have burnt through all their previews. Oh, no, not quite. There's all the Soul Blight yet to come. Emperor's Children yet to come. When are you coming to the US? My offer to take you and Alice, if she comes to a Texas Rangers baseball game still stands. I think we might try and do it in 2026. Because this year is the year of trying to buy a house. And as a consequence, buy a new studio. So I'm saving every single penny I can towards that end. Because we've got to outfit a new studio as well. That's the other thing. That's the expense I keep not thinking about. But that's where you guys might be able to help me. Because we'll be selling a lot of stuff. And also, you know, professionally begging on the internet. That's what we do. Us YouTubers. So, all that remains is to add a little bit of basing material. And that's what we're going to do. But we're not going to film it because we do it all the time. So, for those of you lucky few who are here, it's going to be a really complicated basing mixture, you see. What we're going to do is we're going to take some Stirland mud and we're going to apply it over the top of the base, and then we're going to wait for it to dry, and then once that's done, we're going to take some Tyrant Skull, and then we're going to dry brush it. It's really, really, really original, I know, but that is what we are. That's what we're doing. And I can hear you on the other side of your computers saying, Josh, why would you make it that complicated? You know, you're the contrast guy. You're about making things simple. Well, I'm sorry. I'm just a basing aficionado, you see. Just love basing, and you know, a really complicated recipe like Stirland mud, dry brush with Tyrant Skull, and then furnished with some tufts from Gamer's Grass is about as elite as it can possibly get, you know. There's not a whole lot left in this pot. Ah. It's a good job they Warhammer community didn't ask me to write an article about basing, because it would have been really bad. Done. And over £1,000 Warlord not counting, right? Well, see, that was different. That was you guys wanting to see that. Maybe when we do the Warlord Titan in a single stream, that fundraising effort for doing that, we will do that to raise funds for the studio. What about lava/volcanic basing? Well, we've done that. We've done that before. That's here on the channel. You can see that in the Grimhold Exile. That's a video that we have that. Did not see that coming. Wow. I like to keep you all on your toes every now and then, you know. So there we go. It is done, ladies and gentlemen. What you've all been asking for ages. If we were going to do it, well, we've done it, you see. Frecker, Helm, and Lord Thorn. All done. Looking great, I hope. 3 separate videos on their way very soon. Evening. What would your 3 grey colours be for rocks in terms of base, colour, wash and highlight? For rocks, my 2 colours would be Black Templar, Dry Brush for Tyrant Skull. Just because it gives you a dark grey and then you're highlighting it with brown, because rocks aren't all one colour. That's why. A question to you MESBG guys. We've had some interest in our meta to start looking into it. Would Ents be a fun to play with/against? I think so. Ents would be a lot of fun to play with. Play against them gives a tactical decision to your opponent in that you won't have very many models and they will be much better at scoring objectives over what you are because you won't have very many models. You play with about 400 points, right? So in that regard, it does make it quite a fun game. And they're not terribly broken, the Ents. It's not like slapping down a Balrog and some goblins and just being like, enjoy. Base rims need doing. They do indeed. Your Krieg heavy weapons team came out beautifully and awesome. Proud of you, my fellow guardsmen. Thank you very much, Colonel. You're a legend. I just want to make you proud. You are the Colonel of my Krieg. Just saying. Right. We have a Glorfindel to build. And do you know what's fun about the Glorfindel model? There's no instructions. And there's 2 of them. So that's fun, isn't it? It's the kind of thing where we probably need the picture. Hello, Elijah. Because there's 2 heads, and I don't know if either of them are keylocked. They might be. They also might not be. There we go. And there we go. Oh, we do need the horse's tail. That would be good to have, wouldn't it? And we got the reins. There's another head. I think that's everything. Oh no, we need another sword. Boom. Yeah. Was on IG and saw your stuff and gave you some likes, War Hipster. Keep up the great work. Thank you very much, Elijah. We do our best. Hello, Mr. Gwatkin. Right. There are some gaps that appear in parts of the horse. Of course there are. Well, in that case, shall we start with the one on foot, shall we? That looks like that's the piece that goes in there. That needs fixing. Of course it does. Right. So we're going to need these 2. We'll need the 2 hands. Now what about the heads? That's the question. It looks like this one's the one that goes in with this body. Yes, it is. We will need a cloak. Probably that one. And is that it? No, we need this arm, I think. Oh no, maybe not. Oh yeah, no, we do. Okay, so that's the horse. That head goes on the horse, and we will also require this arm. By the looks of things. Boom, boom, bow, bow. Did you wash it? I did. Hello, Sidewinder. What are you building, Josh? I'm building Glorfindel, Lord of the West. Glorfindel, Lord of the West. Right. Let's approach this then, shall we? Focus on me, not on the ground. Get you off. Bosh, bosh, and bosh. Right, we need our knife. So we just need to clean that little bit off because this little piece went to market. This little piece stayed at home. That little piece goes there. No pizza for this one. No, this one I can handle. I can handle the small bits. Just. Because all we need to build this is a knife and a clipper. Whereas to build the big bits we need flipping bandsaws and grit paper and all this kind of thing. And I don't have any of that stuff. And the reason the big stuff makes me really nervous and uncomfortable when I build it is because you require the sandpaper to get it to work, for example. And if you do too much sandpapering, you ruin it. So you just ruined a £150 hunk of resin. I don't understand what's going on with those legs. Okay, it's meant to be look like that. Okay, that makes sense. I recently bought an old metal Gandalf the Grey. Do you have any decent Grey recipes for him? Maybe the Frecker video will help you when that comes out, because Frecker's coat is grey. Grey's an annoying one when it comes to contrast paint. Because Basilicanum Grey should be a brilliant paint, but it's just not. Like, it's nice at certain points, but if you don't thin it down, it gets away from you and it becomes basically black. Or just like really, really dark, weird coloured grey, which is why I don't like it for grey. I usually use something like Black Templar for grey, but Black Templar on its own is not the right colour for Gandalf the Grey. He's got a much more sort of mid-grey. So Basilicanum Grey is going to be your friend for Gandalf the Grey, but you'll want to thin it down because Basilicanum Grey is a horrible dick. For lack of a better word. Some proper horrible mold lines on this one. Any more thoughts on the frequency of your educational series? How far did the developer paint scheme video do as far as metrics? The video I haven't done yet, but the stream did really well. And like I said earlier in the stream, I'm happy to do one again on Wednesday. I just need you guys to throw out some ideas, and nobody threw out any ideas, so clearly you don't want to see any more of it. That's what I'm taking that to mean. Currently. The only one I won't be able to do is priming, because we can't do that in the office. I can't do that live, I'm afraid. When will the other MESBG videos come out? In the coming weeks and months. I don't know exactly when. They'll come out as they come out. Yeah. That's the short answer. I need to finish their bases, naturally. But we've got a couple of gaps for some videos in the next fortnight, so they'll be coming out pretty soon, I should imagine. We've got to get the Snarlfang Riders video out, and I've got Craftwell de Yandon as well. That's also got to come out. What else is there? There's another one. There's the video that we filmed on Wednesday, the thing. The color schemes one. That's got to come out. Range of blacks and highlights. Well, we already have a video on that one, Maureen. It's called the Ultimate Contrast Black Armor Guide or something like that. I'd be hesitant to do it again. What about Ungrim Iron Fist? No, see, these are just how to paint videos. Are you saying you would rather see how to paint videos than me go live on a Wednesday? Is that what the vibe is? Do you not want to hang out anymore? Tips on shade paints. Like what sort of thing? When will you paint him for a video? Tonight, hopefully. Depends on my evening. He's my next model in the queue. Elven Supremacy time. Let's go, says Cameron. Yeah, let's do it. I've got quite a few elves. Okay, that bit's cleared up. I need to just do this bit as well. Shades are something that seem to be underused. Default seems to be to throw Nuln Oil over everything, so this may be a good future topic. What's your bark/wood recipe? Wildwood. Do you have any plans to paint the Three Hunters box set? Not at the moment. I plan to do the Fellowship at some point. This is going to be an interesting one, isn't it? Oh, it's because I was trying... I see. I was being a fool. A fool of a took, some might say. It goes like that. And then that one goes in there. And you line it up somehow. Or you hope that it lines up. Okay, I understand this model now. And would you advise making your own shades or using the ones off the shelf? I think that's an interesting question. I wouldn't advise. There is never a one-size-fits-all approach to anything. This is the thing to bear in mind, right? Like, if you want it to be a color that doesn't exist, you have to make it yourself. And if you want it to be shaded with something that does exist, then just use it off the shelf. Do you see what I mean? It's a really broad, like, it's a really broad topic of conversation, I think. And I like the problem I think we're going to run into here is that if you want rules for miniature painting, the rule is that there are no rules, as it were. Hello, Will. Hello, Sly Guy 77. Like, it's not a case of congratulations, welcome to miniature painting. If you want to paint red, you always use Mephiston red. End of story. Like, that's not how it works, as it were. The easier thing is, like Alan is saying there, I've expanded my use of the technique I first saw you demonstrating on Exalted Flamers with the mixing of multiple contrasts while both are wet and on the model is fun. There you go. So that's basically a form of contrast wet blending, you see. And that's how you do things like flames. It's how you do things like, well, you can do blends that way. But like when you see colours are just like sort of merging together, with contrast, you can do it one of two ways. You can paint the whole thing one colour, and if you're going darker with your next colour, wait for it to fully dry, get your next colour on, put it on, and then blend it like I do. You like fuss it up with your brush. Or if you're doing something like flames, you don't want to do it that way because it'll just take forever. So take 4 colours of varying degrees of brightness: yellow, orange, red, black, and throw it all on at the same time, and just sort of muss the colours about with each other until it sort of starts to blend together. So there you're talking about a technique of, you know, when to wet blend, how to wet blend, as it were, which makes sense. But if the question is, like, when I'm painting power swords, do I use this or this? It's like, well, no, is the answer, because it could be anything. Citadel Paint app has a pretty decent generic flame scheme to work on. Base, White Scar, Shade, Cassandora, and Orange. Fugan orange, orange red, then black tips. Yeah, that is one way you could do it. So when I do flames, I do it in one coat with 4 paints rather than 4 coats with 4 paints. And you don't highlight because people make fun of you when you highlight flames. Or as they do in my comment section. I would love to get your input on glazing using paints other than contrast. I've never been able to nail the technique down. I struggle with how wet the brush needs to be in order to apply the glaze. Well, that's where I'm not actually the best person to ask that question, because I do it with contrast paints. The reason I do it with contrast paints is because it's harder to do with base and layer paints. With base and layer paints, the way you do it is incremental shades of brightness. With contrast, you do it with incremental shades of darkness. But it's an inherently wet paint, so you thin it down a little bit more, it goes on a lot easier, and it's also a stronger pigment. If you want something to be, I don't know, what you'll see people who recommend wet blending do is you'll say, right, you want the final color to be Teclis blue, okay? So what we're going to do is we're going to start with Night Lord's blue. And then we're going to mix incrementally different things like this with Teclis and Night Lord's blue until we get to the point where the final glaze is this for that to be the final colour. And some people might do it in 4 passes, they might do it in 8, they might do it in 10, they might do it in 12. But you're going, here's Night Lord's blue, here's the final colour. We now need to get between them by going 1 to 1, 2 to 1, 3 to 1, 4 to 1, 5 to 1, 6 to 1. Do you see what I mean? And that's how you get up to that colour. Which is why with me, we do possibly 3 of contrast paint. Which is why I do it that way. Yeah, it's like Cameron says, patience for glazing. Take your time and you just keep applying the glaze until it's the colour you want. Yeah, exactly. Like, it's all about... Traditional, I said it in the article, right? Traditional ways of painting is about getting up to the colour you want. Contrast is about coming down to the colour you want. And based on what your primer colour is, the ceiling is either high or low. Okay? So again, in that example, if you want your final colour to be Talassar blue, and you need to get to Talassar blue, and you're coming down from white, you're maybe 2 or 3 steps Talassar blue down from there. Whereas if you're coming up from black, but you want to be really bright, your floor is much lower. So you're coming all the way up in terms of your layers, whereas for contrast, you're coming down. And you get there a lot quicker. But it's a more technically difficult paint to use, technically. Tips on painting yellow. Imperial Fist. Done. Shade it with another yellow. Cassandora yellow or Eandon yellow to add a bit of orange in there. Could use Fugan orange to make it even more orangey. You could use brown to make it dirty. You could use whatever, but start with Imperial Fist and go from there. How much do you contrast paint Mars or Ryza Admech? I don't know orange contrasts, but Blood Angel's red doesn't seem right for red robes, and I have no idea what the inner robe should be. Well, you're in luck, Sly Guy 77. There you go. Going to paint Hawkshroud Knights. Oh, well, yeah, for House Hawkshroud, Imperial Fist is going to be your friend. Do it over the top of Wraithbone or something. You want to go over a war... If you want... Well, so if you go over Wraithbone, you'll get a really warm yellow. If you go over grace it, it'll be cold. But Imperial Fist is a single coat contrast paint. So in that instance, single pigment contrast paint. So in that sense, it's really easy to apply. You don't have to worry about that kind of coffee staining thing. The only thing you have to worry about with Imperial Fist is not using too much, because if you use too much, gravity will cause a drip formation on your panel. And so what you'll see once it's fully dried is there'll be a little bubble right in the middle, or in a corner or something, where the paint has just kind of settled down towards the bottom. Do you varnish once finished? No, I don't, Will. Not Bad Moon. That was a shocking colour when I first used it. Yeah, Bad Moon's an interesting one. Bad Moon Yellow is like a really green yellow, which doesn't make a whole lot of sense. But Bad Moon Yellow, when you thin it down, it has tints of green to it, whereas Imperial Fist has more orange in it, basically. I start pink, then white on top, then yellow over that. Gives it a real nice orange yellow in the deeper parts and a nice bright yellow where your white was. My Votan are yellow. So are mine, Elijah. Do you do that with an airbrush by any chance? Do you ever use green stuff? No, I don't. I don't use green stuff. I probably should. While you're here, do you have any tips for super streaky colours? Like, I've always struggled with shyish purple, like the cloak on Abraxia. It was so difficult for me not to get streaks. Yeah, Lahmian Medium's going to help you there. 4 to 1. Shyish purple to 1 part Lahmian Medium. That'll help you out. For painting little gobbos in the classic Moon Clan scheme, would you say paint the green faces first to get them out of the way, or the black robes as is the most used colour? In the classic Moon Clan scheme, if you're painting Moon Clan grots, do the black first, because you can then clean up the skin if you make any mistakes, and they're not particularly difficult, cramped models, as it were. If it's something like 40k orcs where they've got iron gobs and all things like shrouding their faces, actually in that instance it's probably better to paint the skin first and then do all the other things, because you don't want to get green on the gob, for example. But for goblins, the night goblins in particular, just do the black first and then you can correct the skin with whatever your primer is and then go over it with Gutripper Flesh. Would be what I would recommend. Right, I'm going to put some glue on that. Oh god, that was a lot of super glue all at once. Which medium should I use to thin paints to avoid too much surface tension? My paints bead too much when I use water. Well, so Winchester, that's actually more of a problem, not with your paint so much, that's more of a problem with your primer. Your primer's too glossy. So either you're not shaking it enough or you need to fuss it up a little bit. So once you've primed a model, give it over a really good dusting with a slightly stiff brush. If your paint is like, what is it? Does it bead off of everything, or is it off your metallic paints? Because it's typically where it happens. If you prime something with Retributor armor, for example, it's got a slightly glossy finish, and because it's got a glossy finish, when you're applying paint over the top of it, it's going to bead up because the paint is recollecting, and thinning it down is not going to help. You're actually introducing more more beading into it effectively. Lick that like button, peoples. That is correct. Thank you. Hello, Mr. Captain Manrings. I should rename one of my streams to just like the hobby clinic or something. It's difficult for me to get anything done with all these questions. I'm off. I'm going to sign off for now, folks. Got to put my little girl to bed. She painted her second mini today. All the best, everyone. Have a good evening, Josh. All the best, Aiden. And well done to your little girl for painting a second miniature. That's really cool. Start them young. It's the best way. Indoctrination. What are you working on today? I'm building Glorfindel at the moment on foot. And we started the stream off by finishing off, what's his name? Frecker, Lord of the West March. Lovely. My worst problem paint is any base white over any contrast paint. That's odd. I've not encountered that before. It might be that the quality of the white that you're using is the problem there, weirdly. Hello, Pridders. It also might be that something to do with the local water system. If you've got hard water or soft water, I'm not sure which, but that could be affecting your paint. If you're based in the UK, it's probably worth investigating. I just think if you're using base and layer paints, the best medium for it is, well, in my experience, is Lahmian. Lahmian medium will help you, or you could look at something like some distilled water, maybe. There's a really cool one that I really like from Instar Paints, which is called Water Plus. That's a really good thinner for base and layer paints. It's also quite good at doing contrast paint as well. It's not the best in the world, but it is really good at doing it for contrast. Who or what is Glorfindel? Glorfindel is a Lord of the West. So this is Glorfindel. In the books, in the Lord of the Rings, it's Glorfindel who discovers the hobbits in the wild and carries Frodo to Rivendell rather than Arwen in the film. He's also an absolute badass that frequently kills Balrogs for fun in the early ages. A lot of people like to think things would have gone a little bit quicker and a little bit smoother if Glorfindel had accompanied the Fellowship or been a member of the Fellowship. But he's a big cheese. Have you played Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 yet? No, I haven't. I kind of want to get it, but I don't have any time to play it at the moment. And I feel like I would need to have a lot of time to sink into it. So I've taken a decision to not watch too much coverage of it because it will just make me want to play it more. What I did watch a lot of over the weekend was people playing Elden Ring Night Rain. And that looks really fun. I'm excited to play that one. I decided after I'd already painted my Ultra Smurf infiltrators that my medic should have a white shoulder, and it was a pain to get the white scar, I think, on that. Yeah, white scar is going to be tough because white scar is a layer paint. What you're better off doing, if you do want to decide something's going to be white in the end, use Corax white if you're using Citadel paints. Corax white is a base paint, so it's thicker, it's better application of these kinds of things. You can then apply like white scar or whatever afterwards. Like to brighten it up even further, but white scar is the brightest white that Games Workshop makes, so you're better off going for Corax white as your base because it's a better application of that process of applying white, basically, and then white scar afterwards is your highlight. You've lost the last week to it. Yeah, so yeah, that's the reason why I haven't bought it. It's because I know it would be the end. Do you know what game I did though buy recently? I bought and I really enjoyed it, Dynasty Warriors Origins, because I loved playing Dynasty Warriors when I was younger, and I played it, smashed it, completed it, and I was really happy. Top 5 or 10 contrasts to avoid and or better options. Whoa, that is a difficult question. I don't think there's any contrast paints you should avoid, because I think they're all great. They're just, some of them are not ideal for what they were originally intended for, as it were. So like Black Templar is not a good black contrast paint, but Black Legion exists. And Black Legion's excellent paint. So it's basically a case of like, I don't know the other ranges well enough, but a lot of them occupy slightly different color spaces as well. So like the army paint, the speed paint, there's nothing really that's like completely analogous to the 40k to the Citadel range. They're all just slightly tonally different. which actually in many ways means they could augment your collection if you were to buy all of them. But like their reds don't sit in the same color space as Blood Angels red. They just don't. Like it, from the use I've had of them, they're similar, they're close, but then it's not the same color. It's either a little bit too candy or a little too pastel-y from the Army Painter. The Vallejo stuff is the same. It's like it's got more pink in it than the Blood Angels red does, and so on and so forth. And so if you have a collection of all paints ever, you're pretty covered on most colors. But that's not the kind of knowledge I have across all of those paints. I'm really clued up on my contrast paints naturally. Now, there is, to caveat that slightly, when it comes to things like, let's say, yellow in the contrast range, Iyanden yellow is a lovely paint. Is it easy to work with? Yes. Is it as easy as Imperial Fist? No. So there's the question, isn't it? Because if you're painting something like an Imperial Fist Space Marine, you're actually better off, and I've done it both ways now, but you're better off using Imperial Fist on an Imperial Fist Space Marine, funnily enough. You're better off using that and then shading it because it's large areas. But if you shade it with Kasandora yellow, you basically get what is Iyanden yellow. So Iyanden yellow is a yellow paint with orange in it, basically. But is Iyanden yellow the better paint for doing what you're trying to do? No, not on a large area, because it makes it a little bit harder. You're going to get more orange spotting, as it were. So, versus Imperial Fist, which is very easy to apply, but then you have to introduce some shade to it because Imperial Fist doesn't have a dark pigment in it. It's just all one color. Whereas if you're painting like a yellow panel or some yellow detailing on something that's got loads of texture, Iyanden yellow is probably your best paint. Unless you want to do a yellow lizard, but you've primed the yellow lizard in Grey Seer because you want it to be cold. In which case, you probably don't want to use Iyanden yellow or Imperial Fist because they're very warm. And you're introducing warmth to a cold scheme. And when you're doing that, what you'll get is you'll get this kind of sort of anemic yellow on the flat surfaces. And you'll get these very orange recesses, which will look a bit sort of at odds with the rest of the model. So in that instance, if you're trying to do cold yellow over Grey Seer, then maybe you want to look at something like Nazdrag yellow. How many people would notice if you show up with Imperial Fists painted Iyanden yellow and Iyanden Eldar painted with Imperial Fists? Not that many people, to be honest. Alan L, thank you very much for the 5 gifted War Hipster memberships. That is very generous of you. Thank you. Borgit's Beast Grabbers on the way. Painting it? No. I don't have it. Is the short answer to that. That is my intention, Rory. I don't know when, but that is the plan, to do a tutorial on him. This is going to be one of those famous gaps that I was warned about, I'm sure. Are there more of the Old World High Elf tutorials on the way? No, not for now, Echo 5s. Would you like there to be? What would you like to see? Swordmaster's tutorial. Seeing how many clan rats from Skavenkide I can get complete for this month's Tales, need a couple of paints that will go with Space Wolves Grey. As in offset them or complement them or... Swordmasters, Lothern Seaguard, White Lions. just a few then. Well, Sisters of Avalon or Handmaiden of the Everqueen. Right, so what you're saying is, guys, and if I'm interpreting this correctly, is you'd like to see me basically paint the entire range of High Elves. Another blue to complement and then an orange to contrast. So I think you've got a couple of options there, Pritters. To complement, Space Wolves Grey is really cold. So it's a really cold paint. So you probably want a dark blue to go with it, and if you want to keep it cold, Leviathan Blue is probably going to be the one you want. Orange-wise, you could either go for, depending on what you've primed them with. What have you primed them with? Is it Wraithbone or Greyseer or White or something? Greyseer. Perfect. Right. So what you can... Leviathan Blue would work really well opposite Griff... not Gryph-Charger Grey. Would work really well opposite Space Wolves Grey. And then orange-wise, you could go for Gryph-Hound Orange. It would be orange. Or you can go for Gore-Grunter Fur, which is a orangey brown, which would probably be more realistic, as it were. An example of Gore-Grunter Fur on Frecker here, over the top of Greyseer. If you see his little in there and in there, those two little sort of reddy brown straps, works as an orange. We've done the same thing on Helm. I don't think there's any on Lord Thorn. No, there isn't. But Gryph-Hound Orange would be more orange. I wouldn't use Magmadroth Flame. That wouldn't work. Don't worry, I'm a dwarf man. I will patiently wait for an eventual Thorgrim. Maybe he'll be restocked in the US by then. Well, I'm doing this very soon. I'm doing this tonight. Ungrim Iron Fist. There he is. For your dwarf fans. on the High Elf videos subject, if you guys want to see the entire range of High Elves, then you know what you need to do. You need to go and make the Illyrian Reavers video really popular, and you need to wait for me to find the time and the money to buy all of that to make videos for you. Because Games Workshop were very kind, and they did send me the Illyrian Reavers, but that's all they sent. They didn't send me the battalion box or anything like that. Hello, Kataro. Gore-grunter is on the claws. We'll do the blues and silver first, then see if I want a bright orange or a brownie orange. There you go. You can, like, if you put Gore-grunter fur on and you don't like it, you can always create a little bit of variation just by throwing, like, some Reikland Flesh Shade or some Guilliman Flesh over the top of the orange. Over the top of the Gore-grunter fur. You can do the same thing over the top of Gryph-hound orange. And what it does is it just throws a little bit of that kind of reddy brown in there that makes it appear more like leather. Reikland Flesh Shade is really good for doing that over the top of other colours. It's only a slight hint, but like I've done that quite a lot to great effect over things like red leather, for example. For example, you put like Blood Angel's red down and then you want it to have a little bit more of a leathery feel to it, so you just add a little bit of Reikland Flesh Shade, and that does the trick. Completely relevant to the video, but where did you get your contrast paint holder in the background? Did you make it with thin MDF? I got it from TT Combat. I shall drop the I'll drop the link for you. You can have a look. It's TT Combat. They make a bunch of other stuff like terrain and things, but they also make paint racks. And the one I bought was 4 of the Citadel paint shelf. This one here. And it is made out of MDF. I was wondering how would you paint the white fur for the Mournfang pack, or would you use a different colour? Mournfang pack. Images. How would I do that? I would probably use the colours that are in this for you there, Kataro. I was wondering how... did you see the new vampires? I did, Artistic Outlaw. James Matthias, hello. I did. And I think they're beautiful, and I desperately want them. I want them in my face. I was just going to ask about Water Plus and if it's worth investing in. It's really good. It's really simple for thinning down paint. It's a really quick way of doing it. Like, just in terms of, like, getting it right, like, there's a little bit of an knack to it, but, like, I'll just show you. The thing I like about it, Water Plus, is, again, speed. Speed is of the essence, right? But if, just put this ratty old thing, and we'll just open one and get some Steel Legion Drab. And if we just jump over to the overhead, boom. Check that out for some dark exposure. There you go. So Water Plus comes in these little dropper bottle things, and basically the thing I like about it is we just take a brush load of Steel Legion Drab and we just one drop of it creates some nicely thinned down paint. If you add 2 drops of it, it's a little bit thinner, but it's like buttery smooth. This is a medium layer brush, by the way. See, it just comes off. If we add 3 drops of it, for example, it starts to get a little bit watery, as you can see. And if we add, let's go crazy. We've had 3, so we've got 4, 5, 6, 7. We've now got a glaze. And if you go even further, you get a shade. It's just really quick. Does this work on metallics as well? It does, Katara. I still find it crazy that you order your paints alphabetically and by type. That's a bit you critics all forget. It's done by type and alphabetically. There is a 2-step solution. Now that I have adjustable lighting wavelength, do you have a preference? Yeah. So I use my lights at 5600 Kelvin. 5600K. That's where you get this, as you can see. If we... 5000 is that, so it's a little bit yellower. That's okay. That's more close to daylight. That's 4000 where it's really yellow. I don't like that. And that's 3200 where I now look jaundiced. So I use mine at 5600K. I would say that the... Oh god, that's horrible on the eyes when you go from the thing to thing. 5600 down to 4800 is about the range I can cope with when it comes to painting, because it's cold and neutral. Any higher than 5600K, it starts to turn to blue. Any lower than 4800, it starts to turn yellow. Where to buy Water Plus? I googled and couldn't find it. I'll grab the link for you. Instar Paints. I don't know if they ship to the US. They might. Here you go. I don't know if you talked about it already, but is there a chance you paint Lord Thorn from the MESBG range as well? I have good news for you, Lars. Are you ready? Are you still here? Because if you are, I have good news. Yes. This video is coming soon. As is this one. As is this one. I've done all three. I did them this weekend. I still have so much MESBG stuff to build / paint. Yeah, so do I, Flying Muttley. I would love to do a lot more of it and a lot quicker. The problem is the videos don't do so well because MESBG isn't the most popular game anymore. So I can't just sit and do a bunch of MESBG stuff. It also doesn't come out very frequently from Games Workshop, so it's not very often in the conversation. I really hope that they send me a bulk. Because I'd like to take plastic bulk and turn Adam's Irolas to dust with it to prove a point. Have you gotten your Hera Bride of Death yet, Sly Guy 77? Yes. Built. Like, can you believe that Adam's favourite character in all of Lord of the Rings is a man who stands there and talks about Doom? That's his favourite character. I'm like, what about any of the members of the Fellowship? He's like, nah, they're all lame. Everyone else in Lord of the Rings is lame. But Irolas, best character in the entire film, entire book. Wonderful character. So deep, so well written. My phone just went off. He might have just texted me. No, he hasn't. I can keep talking smack about him. Although if Mr. Watkins here, I'm sure he's just texted. Oi, Adam. Josh is talking smack about you in chat. Now, see, Elijah, this is where you're wrong. Everyone seems to think that Frodo is, you know, one of the heroes of the piece, but actually, it's the man who turns up and says, "It is as Lord Denethor has predicted, long as he foreseen his doom, this doom." That's the true hero of the piece. Oh dear. We have fun, don't we? Oh, well, I do. You built it with the big shield, I see. I liked the broken shield. That sword was so stressful to deal with. Oh, yeah. Yeah, I didn't enjoy it. This is a very pretty model. Oh, but it is fiddly. Oh dear, oh dear. Hey, we got to 50 likes on the stream. Amazing, thank you guys. Now, can we shoot for 75? That's right, we're going for an interval. An interval in numbers, not I'm going for an interval. The show's not intensive enough to have an interval. One day I will make it intensive enough to have an interval. It'll be when I do another musical stream. I thought about doing that last Wednesday. I was like, oh, I could either do this stream about how to figure out contrast colours, or I could play guitar at people. I ended up going with theory. But maybe I'll play guitar at you again sometime. Who knows? I haven't played properly for a while. Josh's sing-along Mondays. Oh, that would be nice. I'd enjoy that. I don't think anyone else would, but... It takes a long time to say anything in Dentish. Sing The Greatest Showman. Don't make me do it. I will do it. I've got all this music playing in my head. Is Leadbelcher spray okay to use without primer? Yeah, you can. I would recommend doing 2 light coats with it. Just to really get a strong silver. Using it directly over the grey, it might feel a little bit weak in places. So, the grey of the plastic, I should say. A really strong way of doing it is priming it with black and then using Leadbelcher spray over the top of that. But there's nothing wrong with just going straight in with silver. You just might want to go give it a good priming and then let it fully dry and then later just give it a very gentle overspray just to really punch it up. Do it, lol. I saw the sun begin to dim. I felt that winter wind blow cold. It's difficult to know the key when this is playing in my head. 'Cause from that rubble, what remains can only be what's true. If all I've lost is more I've gained, 'cause it led me back to you. From now on, these eyes will not be blinded by the lights. From now on, what's waited till tomorrow? It starts tonight. It starts tonight. Let this promise in me start like an anthem in my heart. From now on. From now on. There you go. Drink champagne with kings and queens. The politicians praise my name. Those are someone else's dreams. The pitfalls of the man I became. Any chance of a War of the Worlds reprise? No one would have believed. My life would be forever autumn, 'cause you're not here, 'cause you're not here. I need a piano really for that. Dun dun dun. Is there anything you can't do? There's many things I can't do. The chances of anything coming from Mars are 1,000,000 to 1, they said. I'm off to see War of the Worlds in April. That's sick. Les Mis. Oh, you're getting me started now. One of my favourite ones to sing from Les Mis is Stars. But very specifically in the same way that Russell Crowe did it. So not very well. Look down, don't look 'em in the eye. Look down, you're here until you die. There's so many classics in that. Now, prisoner 24601. Your time is up and your parole's begun. Like you've got a Malteser stuck in your throat. Yeah, or you just got a bunged up nose. Because you can just go, what is it? I need the words for it. How does it go? I can't remember now. Oh yeah. The stars in your multitudes, scarce to be counted, filling the darkness with order and light. You are the sentinels, silent and sure, keeping watch in the night, keeping watch in the night. You know your place in the sky, you hold your course and your aim, and each in your season returns and returns, and it is always the same. And if you fall as Lucifer fell, you'll fall in flame. And so it has been, for it is written on the doorway to paradise, that those who falter and those who fall must pay the price. George, thank you very much for the €5. You should sing more often. It's nice to hear you. That's very kind of you. I do like singing. Oh, I love Les Mis. It's one of my favourites. I was obsessed with it for a while as well. Yeah. That's what I wanted to be when I was younger. I wanted to be a music man. I was gonna grow up and I was gonna become a world famous record producer. And that didn't happen. It's too much like hard work. No, I just wasn't good enough. And instead I ended up working in corporate for a while, and now I'm here. And this is much more fun. Fixed Street Spirit, thank you. Any chance of Buenos Aires from Evita? No, I don't know it, sadly. I don't know it well enough to do it. Kenneth Vick. Hi, just wanted to say that I love all your Middle-earth painting tutorials. Please do them for Mirkwood Elves too. I actually did manage to secure some Mirkwood Warriors because No Name has been asking for them and they were out of stock for ages, but I did manage to get some. So we will eventually, I'm sure, have a Mirkwood Warriors tutorial on the channel. I do want to get Thranduil on Elk as well to do that. Just to make that video a little bit more powerful, I think. Because I think Contrast Plus How to Paint Mirkwood Elves isn't going to do so well. But How to Paint the Halls of Thranduil will do much better. You're a world-famous model painter instead, though. We're certainly on the way, Winchester 1979. Certainly on the way. Maybe someday we'll be a world-famous miniature painter. Maybe. It is crazy that there is almost 80,000 people subscribed. We can now fill Old Trafford. If everybody bought a ticket, we would fill Old Trafford. I think we would fill Wembley if we get to 80,000, which is crazy. But, you know, that would require every single person that is subscribed to buy a ticket to come and see me. Which is not how it works. Not how it works. What is a rigid adherence to 343 in contrast paints terms? I think you could quite easily say that you cannot do anything with contrast paints other than thin them with contrast medium. That would be a strict adherence to 343 in that regard. How to use cyanoacrylate remover after being distracted by the war siren. That seems like quite a niche video. Do them together with Thranduil. Yeah, exactly. But Thranduil on Elk has been out of stock for ever. I can't ever seem to get my hands on it. I'm sure we will at some point, but it is proving the most elusive miniature. Just like Alfarius was for a while. And he's come back, so we bought him for the Batman. Because, you know, who am I to defy Batman's wishes? Nobody, that's who. That is quite alright, Alec, man. At least one like. Are we nearly at 69, are we? Because that's the hallowed number. It's the one everyone wants to see. So we can all go, whee! Also 420, but it's very unlikely that I'll ever do a stream where I can say, can we get to 420 likes? You know? We have to be significantly larger for that. Which, don't get me wrong, is where I want the channel to go, but... I suspect what I'd have to do is, instead of being a tutorials channel, we would just become a streaming channel. Which I wouldn't want to do. Because doing it twice a week is more than enough. For me. For my brain, at least. Pew, 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 pew. But I think a lot of you would get sick of me if you saw me every day online. What are we going to do today, Josh? I don't know. Play some Space Marine? I don't know. Are we going to paint anything? Nah. We're done with that now. My painting era is over. The age of games has begun. There will be no dawn for War Hipster. Brr, brr. My business is with Isengard tonight. A wizard should know better. Oh. There is no curse in the tongues of elves, ents, or the tongues of men for this treachery. Get synthetically outraged at GW gradually phasing out of the tactical rock. Yeah, we could do that. What stage are you on with the build? Still on clean up, or has assembly started? We are assembling currently. I'm trying to figure out how the hell the head goes on. And I think it goes on thusly. And if it doesn't, then I'm an idiot. Which is true, but not relevant to our interests. We do just need to do that, and I need to kind of find something to fill a gap. Maybe that will do it. Where's my tweezers gone? I don't know. Ah, tweezers. Just need a little shaving or something, because there's a little hole in mine on the shoulder. No, that's not going to work. Maybe you? You there. Boy, what day is this? Yeah, that'll do. That looks better. Head probably goes between the shoulders. Ah, that's where it goes. I see. I thought it went on the horse's arse. Kind of like my content. Whee! Oh, he's beautiful. Okay, we can now stick him to his base, I think. And I think he goes in here. Like that. Basically. I think we're done. With gloves. What really helps is if you don't stick yourself to the model. Dangers of super glue, eh? There you go. Glorfindel. Is that just not going to sit now? Yeah, of course it's not. Okay, there we go. Now he's done. So there we go. Hi Josh, before committing to painting Usharan, what FEC models are good practice for what that grotesque but gorgeous guy entails? That's an interesting question. When I did Usharan, I did him last, having done the rest of the range. And the thing I found valuable about having done that was I'd already done things like the Hollowmorn scheme and stuff like that. So I think you're probably best off, if you want something that's kind of sort of analogous to him, you could try practicing on some, what they called, not horrors. What's the big ones? Are they called horrors? Crypt horrors? Is that the thing? Gonna make me look it up now. Fleshy Courts. Yeah, Crypt horrors, because they're the biggest Fleshy Courts thing. The flares have the wings, Stoogie, but there's no wings on Ush. Another thing that could help you is painting some Morbeg Knights, because we've got the all the bunched muscles of the Morbegs. But Usharan's looks like a big, scary, complicated model to paint, and he can be depending on how you do it. But ultimately, he's not actually that complex, really. He's got small amounts of skin, a really big cloak, and lots of fur. And that's ultimately what he's broken down into his component parts. There's a couple of different things here, like the metallics and stuff, but ultimately there's not actually a huge amount to him. He's very, very simple in that regard. It's, like I said, it's, you know, you've got all that metallic that covers a lot of the skin. He's hunched over in such a way where you won't see most of the skin. That's the other thing to be careful of. So if you're going to do it in sub-assemblies and stuff, just don't spend too much time on, like, between his legs and, like, under his tummy and stuff. You can just get your base coat on and that will be fine, because you'll never see it, because his arms cover his tummy. He's hunched over like this. It's all detail in there. Doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. You don't have to put loads of effort into it. So yeah, it's worth just kind of study the model and you'll see what I mean. If you start to kind of break it down like that, because you'll notice there's not huge loads of different components to him. And because a lot of it's really textured, it's really fun to do. Just 2 likes from 75. We can do it. You can do it. Hello, Bobby. How you doing? But yeah, the cloak is probably the hardest part, because a lot of it is just very flat and it's very large if you're going to do it with contrast paint like we did it on the channel. But I believe I used Bile Red, which makes it nice and easy. If you do it with base and layer paints, though, it won't be that tough. Yeah. 211. Need Water Plus for the cloak. That could help you. Yeah, he's just fun. Have fun with him. Like, ultimately, it doesn't matter if it is a little bit scuffed in certain places, because he will be. It will be all kind of. He is meant to be a bit ghoulish and a bit grubby and things like that. So You can just like turn a mistake into some form of battle damage or grime. That's the other thing that you can do with him, and it will not look out of place. Is the thing. But like I said, he is in classic Age of Sigmar model style. He's beautiful all over and is very, very well textured. It's not like, for example, here's your centerpiece for your 40k army. It's a tank with loads of smooth panels. And it's like, oh, okay, gotta keep that nice and smooth, and then we'll add the battle damage later. It is just one of those things. What's that? Distracted by an email. Hi, Warpster. I got into AOS the past year and have had a blast following your Skaven videos. Your video guys are easy to follow and you give detailed instructions more so than others I've watched. Oh, that's very kind of you. Thank you, Kazioi. I'm glad you enjoyed them. I'm glad I could help. Age of Sigmar. It's always a good time out. I might be doing a Me Time Monday or a couple of Me Time Mondays in the future, painting my 1,000 point list for May, because I've got a couple of really cool ideas, and I'd be interested to see what you guys think. But also, I know that I need to make a decision eventually. Essentially, I've got two really strong contenders in Stormcast and Slaves to Darkness. One, the Stormcast list is Yndrasta, 6 Prosecutors and 2 Stormdrake Guard. It's pretty mean. And in Slaves to Darkness, there is the possibility of Abraxia and 6 Varangard. To do those, I have to paint 3 models for either one. So I'd have to paint 3 Prosecutors or I'd have to paint 3 Varangard. One is significantly easier than the other and will take significantly less time than the other. That being the Prosecutors. But also, Abraxia and 6 Varangard would look really cool and it'd be really fun. And it would be gross. Finally, the goat Glorfindel is here, painting some Mirkwood elves and Thranduil at the moment. Glorfindel and his 4 Nost elves are the next project. That's exciting. Yeah, he's built now. He is done. And I've finished Freka. Oh, that means actually I can change this up to boom 126. So Freka, Thorn, and Helm Hammerhand Wraith of the Hornburg are now all finished. So that's 3 MESBG videos coming your way very soon. We also have Craftworld Eandon, the Snarlfang Riders as well. That's another video that's coming for you Gitmob fans out there. Primaris Psyker for the Astra Militarum. That video's on the way too. And I need to edit the how to figure out contrast color schemes and just see if there's any more I need to add to that video. But that is another video that is also coming your way over the next 2 weeks. Yes. We'll have, at least over the next fortnight, we will have 8 videos and 3 more streams. Unless you don't want to see this content anymore, in which case I'll just stop. Just end it. You madman, it hasn't been 50 days. I know. But we're on a roll here. We're on a roll. We started putting content out every day on the 9th of January. And it's been 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39. And today is 40. This is our streak of 40. 40th day with content every day. And yeah, I've got enough to take me up to the 1st of March by the looks of things. So that's what we're going to shoot for. Because that would be 41, 42, 43, 44, 45, 46, 47, 48, 49, 50. Oh, 50 would be Thursday the 27th. 50 days of War Hipster content. Streaming and videos. It's good fun, isn't it? I try. I try my hardest. That Imperial Guard release got to you, didn't it? It did. I really enjoyed it. I really enjoyed doing all that Imperial Guard. Thanks, man, for the Gitmob videos. They help. I'm looking forward to all the pink when EC drop next month. If they do drop next month, who knows where they are? I don't know when they're coming. We'll have to see. We'll have to wait and see. Who knows? Well, Games Workshop does, I'm sure. We're prepared, though. We did that stream last week. I know what pink I'm going to do. I know what I'm going to do for the black and all that kind of stuff. So we'll be good to go. When you say Snarlfang Riders, do you mean the group of 5 that were released back in 3rd edition, or the new ones, the Snarlpack Cavalry? I do indeed mean the group of 5, because we've already done the Snarlpack Cavalry, and we did the Snarlfang Riders as well. We did the old ones. So yeah, we've done them both. To keep you supported for all of your Gitmob needs. And I now need to know when the Doom Diver Catapult and the boss on Chariot is coming as well. So that we are... I mean, I might do the Shaman. Or... I'm not going to do both. Probably do the Shaman, actually. It's probably the better option. We'll probably do the Shaman on Warwheeler and the Doom Diver just to kind of complete the range. So that Gitmob's fully supported. And then at some point in the future, hopefully... when things quieten down or I get a moment, I can try and do the Trogs, the Troggoths, for the other part of Gitmob, and then we can round out with the Gits. Do things like the Gobberpalooza and the Boingrot Bounders and stuff like that. But there's a lot of models and there's not enough time in the day or the week or the month to do all of it. So... I am but one man. I need to duplicate me, or train someone to be a duplicate of me, so we can double our output. Imagine that, content every day from the channel for a year, not just for 50 days, or for 6 months. We're not going to get to 6 months. I will stop eventually. I'll be like, nah. We're going to space these ones out. But it will happen. But we're just on a roll at the moment. What can I say? It's good. It's a good time to be a Warhammerist. You know, what with the previous releases of the Gitmob, the Death Corps of Krieg, the Eldari, if you're into that kind of thing. High Elves. It's a lot of elves. What else has happened this year? Stuff. Orruk Warclans. Orruk Warclans also happened this year. What's it been? Orruks, Death Corps, Eldar, more Death Corps, High Elves. Yeah. Empire. Yeah, I didn't do anything for the Empire. Maybe we should have done. I didn't have anything though. At some point, maybe we'll do something for the Empire. I'm now just interested to see what happens with Wood Elves. That will be the end of the getting everything out that they need to get out. So from that point on, it will all be new, hopefully. Would you consider exploring alternative Horus Heresy colour schemes for legions, e.g. Dornian Heresy white scars with purple flames? Not for me. I don't know anything about it, is the thing. It doesn't really rev my engine, so I wouldn't know where to begin or what to do or anything. And like when somebody writes their own alternative history, they've got a very clear idea of what that looks like. And when you start wading in on it and you say, oh, we're going to do it this way, they'll go, actually, it's not done that way. It's done this way. You suck. That is a problem with the Horus Heresy stuff in general, is if you don't get the colour right, you get beaten up by the aficionados. So it's not a world I've ever walked into, so I wouldn't know anything about it, so I wouldn't know where to begin. I'll stick to the official canon where there's a lot of reference, because when somebody writes a description, it's very different to what it actually looked like. Like if I said to you, White Scars have ivory armor with red accents, what does that mean? You go, is this? Go, no, not those red accents, and not in those places, and not like that. But yeah, need pictorial references and official pictorial references as well, not somebody else's paint job, because I wouldn't be teaching you like that. It's on that person to show you how they paint it. It's not for me to figure out how somebody else painted it to make a tutorial about how they did it. You see what I mean? It's like when some people have asked in the past if they've tried to commission me to paint their custom army, and I'm like, no, it's that way madness lies. Because how am I supposed to figure out what you're after? If you say yellow, or what shade of yellow? This yellow. Okay. But how do you do it? Oh, you do it this way, and this way. So why don't you do it? Have fun with your models. After painting up some of the new MESBG stuff, have you managed to play a game in the new edition with the new Rohan and Dunland models? Played my first new edition game the other week. It was a lot of fun. I haven't managed to play any Warhammer yet in 2025, and I think the first time I'll be able to play Warhammer at the moment is looking like the 21st of May when I go down to when I go up to Nottingham to play. I was talking to Joe last night though about hopefully going down to see Liam and co, and doing some stuff with them whenever Soulblight happens, because that would be cool. If hopefully it happens before May, and I would be able to get some practice in for when I go and play a tournament, because it's been a while. I haven't played since basically the edition launched. So yeah. I understand how it works in principle, though. So, you know, I'll be fine. I believe. It's sad. Have you decided on a faction to take yet? No, not yet, Cameron. I've got a couple, like I said, I was saying it a little bit earlier. There's a couple of strong contenders. Both require models to be built and painted. I'm currently leaning closer towards Stormcast, taking Yindrasta 6 prosecutors and 2 Stormdrake guards, because I'd only have to paint 3 prosecutors for that, which would be cool. But there you go. Yeah. Oh, put simply, there's a lot to do and not enough time to do it in it, and it is now 7:45. So what we are going to do is we are going to wrap things up there. We, as I was already sort of talking about, we have a painting video coming out for you tomorrow. Not sure what it is. Probably Craftworld Eandon. Let's just get it done. Let's get it over and done with. We won't have to touch Eldar for a while. Craftworld Eandon will come out tomorrow. We'll have another stream on Wednesday. Don't know what it'll be about yet. I'll figure it out. Thursday and Friday we've got painting tutorials. Saturday and Sunday painting tutorials. And we will back with another Me Time Monday and next Monday. Expect to see lots of miniatures. But I am going to go and have some dinner. But I'm going to send you guys over to Mr. Liam the Dempsey, because he said nobody ever sends anyone to him, and I was like, I send people to you, and he said, well, I never see it, and I was like, that's because I stopped, because you didn't say anything, because he doesn't see it. So we're gonna prove a point here. I'm gonna send you over to Liam for now, and yeah, I hope you have the rest of your week, good rest of your week. If I don't see you before then, but we'll be live on Wednesday. Have a great rest of your week, guys. Lots of love, and I'll see you all in the next one. Bye for now.